Yeah, and I'll say the biggest crime that it commits, and maybe this isn't a crime, maybe it kind of had to, but it essentially boils down the Cloverfield universe to the laziest form that it could be.
Yeah.
Say it with me now. Multiverse.
Or right. Um, I like what even like I don't even know. I
So,
just
wait, I've been so excited to try to lore dump the Cloverfield stuff. Are
is
you
that
ready?
like a part of it? Well,
Yeah,
wait,
it's
yeah,
like,
don't dump the lore, dump the lore.
by the way, I'm gonna do a very bad job at this. I saw a video, and we should actually plug this in the description, I think.
Yeah.
The channel Big Blue Backpack. He does a Cloverfield lore dump where he played the game and he watched all the movies and stuff. He does a really good job at explaining it, so definitely go watch that. Link in the description for
Right.
a much better explanation. But essentially, Cloverfield Paradox establishes this is pretty much we're in a multiverse, like the entire movie is about like dimension hopping, I guess. I think it essentially had to because Cloverfield, the first one, pretty explicitly takes place in 2008.
Right.
Um, the second Cloverfield Lane explicitly takes place in 2015. And the reason I know that is because on when she's driving away in the opening scene, her expirate or her car inspection date is July 2015. And I remember
Right.
seeing that and like immediately, even my dumb shriveled little brain being like, so the timeline's fucked. This takes
Right.
place 7 years after the Cloverfield monster arrived, and they don't mention it at all.
Right.
Like if you're gonna mention that, right? Like you're gonna mention it in this movie if that like happened in universe. Like as soon as he says like they're like the air isn't safe, like we're being attacked, like they're gonna say, "Oh, well, does it have anything to do with the Cloverfield monster?" You know?
Right.
It's like immediately, and I would guess this is like an overlooked detail of like production companies and just like how the fact that Cloverfield Lane was retroactive. Um, but they shot themselves in the foot. Like there's no explanation anymore except for multiverse. And I think they
Right.
probably realized that and like we're like, oh, well, here's a shitty movie about multiverse. Let's do this. But that's essentially the only feasible explanation at this point because there is no such thing as like one singular timeline for these movies anymore. Um, anyway, lore dump time. There is And so there's an augmented reality game, like I said before, which is essentially an internet scavenger hunt.
Yeah.
And it's been going on since like 2008 or maybe even like actually probably 2007 as marketing for Cloverfield. Um, and essentially like you can like you go on like these websites and like you find codes and like you enter like quotes from movies that the movie references
Right.
and like all this like clever stuff to like keep finding like more hints. Um, hold on, I need to look up the name. So the lore essentially is there is this big kind of generic like hand rubbing evil corporation called Tagruato that is never specifically name dropped in any of the movies, but it
Right.
all three of them kind of like hint back to it. It's a huge evil corporation that owns a bunch of different and completely random companies. They do oil drilling, or so they say. Um, they do, by the way, they have a slushy company called Slusho, which Slusho is specifically shown in all three of these movies. It's kind of like a broader like J.J. Abrams like Easter egg, I guess.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
but there's actually literally in Paradox, there's like a long like 3 second shot of just like they had a Slusho bobblehead like near the beginning of the movie.
Right.
Um, and then actually Slusho is the company that Rob, the main character from the first Cloverfield, is gonna go work for in Japan. He works for Slusho.
Right.
Okay, so stay with me. Stay with me. Oil rigging, or so they say. Slusho.
Yes.
The third company they have is some shit to do with satellites. And like again, this is why I recommend like going to check the other video because it does such a better job at explaining. Anyway, long story short, their oil rigging is a cover up because they found an extremely addictive substance, natural resource in the ocean that I think they call like the ocean's nectar or something like that.
Right.
Essentially, it tastes delicious, it's extremely addictive, and it's extremely dangerous for humans to eat. In fact, whoever eats it, it makes them expand rapidly, potentially to the point of blowing up.
Okay, right.
Do you remember anyone, maybe in the first Cloverfield movie, who explodes?
Vaguely, but
Yeah, Marlene. Lizzie Kaplan
right.
literally explodes.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
Yeah. Okay. So they're harvesting this resource and they have like a bunch of like fake oil posts essentially set up around the world, including one kind of close to New York City. Okay. And the oil is a cover up because they're harvesting this really dangerous substance and they're putting it in their slushies.
Oh
And
my
the
God.
slush show logo is literally like, by the way, like bet you can't drink only six. And like
Right.
like a lot of like completely random Easter eggs. I don't know what happens. It's one of two things, but the outcome is the same. Okay. At the very end of the first Cloverfield movie, do you know about this? It shows the shot, like they're in the Ferris wheel, and it shows that shot of the ocean. But then you
Right.
look closely and you zoom in, and you see something falling out of the sky into the ocean.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't think I noticed that.
That was like so iconic to me as a kid because you can't see it unless you're specifically looking for it. My dad
Right.
pointed out to me because he found a news article and I like my mind was like so blown like the next day after we saw the movie. Um, for a while, people have speculated that it's the Cloverfield monster itself falling from space, but J.J. Abrams and the director Matt Reeves of the first movie
Yeah.
have given two different stories. I can't remember which is which though. One says it's the monster itself. The other says it's a satellite that falls.
Right.
Okay. So either way, whichever one it is, it's either a satellite that falls deep into the ocean and awakens the Cloverfield monster, which was already on our Earth, just deep in the ocean,
Right.
or it
Okay.
was the alien that fell and like Cloverfield's an alien, you know?
Yeah.
Whichever one it is, it doesn't matter. Either way, this the point is the alien is awake near one of these sea nectar harvesting
Oh,
places.
okay. All right.
Um, one of the ARGs, like there's actually like literally footage of this. It shows like that oil rig like collapsing into the ocean, and the crew's like, "What the fuck's going on?" Blah blah blah. Anyway, the point is, Cloverfield, the monster that we see, devours this entire outpost worth of sea nectar and grows into a kaiju because it's
Right.
bad for humans. It makes us blow up, but for that monster specifically, it just makes him grow, and that's why he's so big. And then he
Right.
goes and destroys New York City, and that's when the first movie happens. Also, extended lore, John Goodman's character um worked on one of the satellites, which I have no fucking clue what that means. No idea. But there on the website during the ARG that was leading up to the second movie, you find his like bio on like this fake Tagerato site, and it's like, yeah, he's like leading this satellite. And then there's a bunch of screenshots and stuff. You find the screenshot of Pretty in Pink, which is the movie that he's watching
Yeah.
in the movie itself. You enter the quote from that movie, the line of dialogue from that scene that he watches, and you unlock a letter that he wrote to his estranged mom and daughter. And he's basically like, by the way, something crazy happened with this satellite. The world's about to end.
Right.
Like you need like I know we're estranged, but like you need to run or like do this or whatever. And so essentially now we know he has a heads up. And that's how like that's probably maybe that's why he commissioned the bunker. Maybe he was already crazy enough. But either
Right.
way, that's backstory about like how he had like a heads up about how all this shit was about to go down.
Right. Well, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's like it. That's like and also, you remember how they showed in the beginning of Cloverfield Paradox is like a newscast and like this one guy was like, this
Yeah.
could end the world like that. He has the same last name of John Goodman's character. So they're probably like related or whatever.
Right. I
Oh,
mean,
one more thing.
I didn't know any of this.
One more thing. Okay. Do you remember in the first Cloverfield when they're at the party, there's this shot of like a random girl passed out on a couch?
Yeah.
She has an entire backstory
Oh
where
my God.
literally her boyfriend works for Tagerato, which I assume is like, how he's in Rob's social circle. That's why that they're invited to the party, okay? Her boyfriend goes missing for weeks. She assumes he's run out on her. She receives a package from him with a letter that says like I haven't run out on you by the way like Tagerato is an evil corporation, shit's about to really go down, like I need you to take this package of substance, do not eat it,
Right.
and hang on to it until you hear from like this other guy, like their friend, I guess. She's drunk and she's so pissed off and she eats the entire package of what else could it be but sea nectar.
Right.
This is the day of the party, by the way. At the party in the movie, she's passed out. She's exploding in a matter of hours because she ate the sea nectar out of madness,
Yeah.
out of anger, I guess. I just thought it was so cool because like they hired that actress for like she filmed like a series of scenes where she's like getting progressively drunker and like reading the note and she's like pissed off at her boyfriend. I just thought that was a really cool thing. They went like above and beyond for that.
Yeah. It feels, I feel like, especially with that, this series has like a lot of potential. And then they just like dumped that Paradox movie on us. And it just like,
Yeah. To me, like having one
what?
specific event in one timeline and we have to piece together all the pieces for that is so much more intriguing than like multiverse. And it's
Yeah.
essentially like, and I guess the point of Parrot is like now it's like, oh, well, now this monster is in all the universes now. Whatever.
Right.
Don't care. Don't care. You know what intrigues me? Did he fall from space or did it climb from the ocean? Was it already massive or did it eat that nectar and become huge?
Right.
Like that
True.
that's the stuff that now intrigues me. I don't care. Like multiverse just makes me not care. Like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Like anything could happen anywhere, so why piece together a mystery?
Yeah, true. I agree.
Anyway,
And that's
um
why they fumbled the bag.
so I hope that the next Cloverfield, there's still so much potential for this. I hope that this next Cloverfield like gives us what we want.
Yeah, I agree. Um, well,
You're
we
just like,
made it.
thank God that's over.
Well, I mean, we made it through the entire lordom too. That's crazy.
Yeah, which by the way, like I said, like I missed a lot of details. There's a lot more to it, and I probably mixed some things up. So go check out the video.
Yeah, we'll definitely link that below. Should should I title this movie like or this video like oh like we watched all the Cloverfields and here's the lore behind everything
We
just to
shouldn't
get people interested.
because we shouldn't just because I did a pretty bad job of articulating it. There's much better lore videos. This is a better review video than lore dump.
Right. Well, either way, yeah, I'm glad that we kind of like went back and revisited these. I had this like weird idea to like check out Cloverfield again because I wanted to like see if I liked it any more or less. And I
Yeah.
feel like I did. I feel like I definitely like appreciate at least the first one definitely a lot more.
It improved my opinion of the second one, which again, like I never even like fully sat down and watched. So like I'm glad I did because it's really good. And it lowered even further my opinion of Paradox now that I know all the lore behind it.
Yeah. And we watched Paradox because Ashley wanted to she's doing like a series on her channel where she's revisiting movies that we skipped for like any
So,
reason. So we watched it for two reasons for this pod and that to knock it out.
well, now you know why you skipped it.
Yeah. Um well, at least we didn't have to use the safe word this time.
It was John Goodman.
Right.
Actually, we use it like several times, but you just edited around it, I assume.
Right.
Just like
Um,
every episode.
well, do you have
Stay
anything
away from
else to say?
slushos.
Yeah, stay away from slush shows.
They're